Hey, how you guys doing? This is Daniel Rucker with True Table. Yes, this is another episode, and we are about to go in. Oh my gosh, I'll be having so much fun with this content and things that I'm putting out. But some people will probably be asking, for those who are new to the channel, go ahead when you get a chance, hit that like button, hit subscribe if you haven't already done so. I so much appreciate it. I'm doing this for you guys. I'm doing this for humanity. I'm doing it for all of those individuals who feel they don't have a voice, or if they do have a voice, somebody's gonna give them a hard time for having a voice. I don't care. I want all the smoke. So that's what I'm here for. But anyway, so some people may be asking, what motivates me to want to talk about what I talk about and what brings the ideas of the content that I want to discuss. Well, most of it is the fact that that's just how I've been my whole life. I've always had somewhat of a controversial perspective. And I won't even say, maybe that's not the right word. I've always looked at life at its plain level on what's going on and then what's the nonsense. And a lot of times it'd be nonsense. I'd be like, that don't make no sense. Like, why people do things this way and why people do this way. I've always been inquisitive. But anyway, also I'm very interested in those who have been listening to me for going on a year now. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Send me topics. Send me things that you're curious to hear about. I was speaking to a friend of mine the other day on Messenger, so I'm going to be discussing his topic that he suggested. Shout out to Randy. So that's coming. Stand by. I'm going to talk about that. But if anybody else has other ideas and things they want to hear about, I welcome it. I'm not shy. You can reach out to me on the comment section. You can find me on Instagram because, that's what I'm here for. But anyway, without further ado, let's get started. So, what is the one thing, the common thread, the one word, topic, issue, I'll say, that most women are against, that they stand against, that they're not a fan of? Yep, that's right. Submission. The word submission. Now, the crazy part about it is that at the end of the day, it's just a word, but there is context behind it. There's a lot of things behind it and what it actually means, right? Submission at its base is pretty much allowing yourself to be led, guided, and there's various other components to it, right? But it's something about when a woman hears, you want me to submit, and it just instantly turns them off, right? But the insane part about it that I don't get is that they are totally okay with submission from a man to a woman. It's so crazy to me. It's so asinine because the women I do know who are in relationships, who are wives, who are dating, whatever the capacity may be, they always drive this narrative and this notion that they run crap. They always drive this perspective that they really are the boss, right? They dictate and control how this thing works out in the equation that is life and relationships and so on and so forth, their household, all of that. I'm here to tell you, ladies, that's nonsense. That's not true. And if that is the case, then I can promise and guarantee that your relationship is probably not balanced correctly. It's probably not full of the elements that it needs to be full of. The things that actually make it work, the things that actually make it a successful relationship. Because that's the point, right? The point of being in a relationship is to be successful at it. Otherwise, why do it? But anyway, so back to it. Submission. Now, me growing up in a household that was God-centered, religious centered, in a sense, spiritually centered, I heard this word so much, throughout just being young, to just growing up in my development. And the main reason is because it has a biblical text that there is submission, in the Bible. And for those who don't model their life after the Bible, that's on you. Do what works for you. Great. But this was how I was raised and what I was presented. And what I found interesting was that out of all the things in the Bible, that used to always be one of the things that people seem to be turned off by, or I'll say women used to be turned off by. But as I got older and started to understand, a lot of what was happening was the fact that there was abuse of that word, and there wasn't a true understanding of it, and there was men who were utilizing biblical texts as a weapon. Shout out to my boy Kevin Samuels, who spoke about this briefly last night. He was talking to a woman, but he was saying sometimes that the Bible is used as a weapon to get what you want. It's a manipulative tool. That's unfortunate, but I would be incorrect if I said that does not occur. That actually does happen. A lot of people don't have enough knowledge behind what the heck they're reading, and then they don't do further investigating. They just take it at face value. Shame on them. But anyway, so back to it. So submission, right? Why is it necessary? Why is it necessary? And why is it that most women really have an issue with the idea of submitting? Well, I'll tell you why. I personally believe that there's a rebellious default setting in every woman. Like, every woman. I really do feel this through personal experience, through observation, through numerous. If I was to log it, I'll probably have tens of thousands of hours of conversations that I've had with, friends, associates, homegirls over the years about this same topic, where their challenge was trying to figure out why they could not get what they wanted from the dude that they was with. And my main question was always, well, what does he want? And they would be like, well, what do you mean, what does he want? It don't matter what he want. I want him to do this. I want this. I want him to be like this. And I'll be like, okay, but what does he want? Because, it is crazy, because at that time, I don't think I even understood how much of them saying, well, when I asked, what does he want? How much that they weren't understanding that principle, like that exchange of sorts. Let's be honest, relationships are transactional. They have components of exchange. That's just what it is. Anybody tell you different, I call BS. Straight up, I call BS, because it's transactional. And that's okay. Human beings at our base, we use each other. Everyone uses everyone. And sometimes I think people get too caught up on the words, like, oh, I don't want to be used. Guess what? You being used. If you got a job, right? If you're an employee right now, you're being used. Like, that's what it is. If you have children, you're being used. If you pay taxes, you're being used. So guess what? If you're a human being and you live on this planet, you're being used, and you're going to continue to be used. But you got to just get okay with that. And that's why I wanted to talk about this, and try to bring some level of clarity. As I'm talking now, I feel like I'm going to really have to dissect this topic in multiple episodes, and that's okay, because like I told y'all, I'm coming, I'm here, I'm not going nowhere, right? It is absolutely necessary for you to understand that without submission, there is no success. There's no such thing as being able to accomplish any one goal without submission. Now, since I'm predominantly talking to my ladies, my fellas who are, chiming in, appreciate that too, because, what I'm saying is relative to you guys as well. But for this particular episode, this is for the ladies. This one's for the ladies, right? Now, I welcome, like I said, all the smoke. All of it. I ain't got no problem with it. I'm going to tell you why. Because a lot of what is the issue is that women have become so accustomed to men being silent. They've become so accustomed to men being quiet, and then, for lack of a better term, scared to speak their truth, to speak whatever they think. Because I've been in locker rooms. I used to play sports. Every sport. Basketball, football, soccer. I was in the military for some years. I've been around men for a long time. Barbershops, gotta keep the fade and stuff right. But anyway, and what I found is that the conversations are always different when it's just men and when there's women around. When it's men, it's always different. And the main reason is because the moment a woman hears something she don't like, she feels she gotta auto-correct it. Like she feels like she gotta get in there and be like, nope, and start to curtail your verbiage or your vocabulary or how you said it. Excuse me. Who made you the verbal police? Like, who gave you that job? Who said that you were put on this planet to go around and telling men how they should say stuff? I would say shut up and sit down, because that's not your job. You're out of place. You're out of line. Our job as men is to speak about things. Our job is to correct things. Our job is to hold a standard, right? And a part of that comes with having women understand that submission is absolutely necessary. Now, I have mentioned earlier in this broadcast that most women have a rebellious spirit, a rebellious component, characteristics. I truly believe that. I believe all of them do. I think it's just innate. And that's okay. That's fine. Because as the pillars of being a man, they're supposed to be that way. I talked about it in one of my previous videos, how they try to test your chest. That's what they do, right? That is a part of it. That is a part of the experience that is a woman. Now, why is it important for you ladies to understand how important submission is? And why are you fighting the very thing that is necessary for your growth, success, survival? That's what it is. I would challenge any woman, and I mean any woman, to combat me on this issue and say that they have a problem with submission if they're not a virgin. Why do you say that, Daniel? I say that because the very act of sex, the very act of it, right? So anybody listening to the sound of my voice that's not a virgin pretty much understands how sex goes down, how it works, right? And the act of sex, like the actual exchange of it, requires a man, a woman, penis, vagina, and at some point there's gonna be wait. There's gonna be some exchange, right? There's gonna be some intermingling of parts, right? So, okay. Now, why do I bring that up as a point? I bring it up as a point because to think that you claim to have an issue with submission, yet you're totally okay with the exchange of sex, I would say you're delusional. I would say you don't quite understand exactly how this submission thing works. Because in order for you as a woman to even experience sex with a man, it requires submission. Now, I wish I had real time, reaction like an audience of sorts right now that could just, give me the immediate response. That's okay. We're going to get there. One of these days I'm going to go live, and have that type of interaction. But right now, we're going to keep it at this level. But the reason I said that is because I know somebody on this broadcast, they burning. I know someone on the other end is probably like losing their crap. Like, what the heck? Who this freaking chocolate boy thinking he can tell us, that we supposed to be submitting? Yes, I am telling you, because most of the issues that are going on right now in the combative exchange between women and men and all of this discourse and all this miscommunication, that's one key component. That's one key component, is that there seems to be this issue of you fighting what is necessary for you to even get what you want. Ladies, in order to get what you want from a man, your duty, your actual focus should be how to be the best submissive woman I could be to the man I want to submit to, right? Now, why did I say that? I say it because it seems to elude most women that if you want success with the man. And I mean success in the term of conversation. I mean success in the term of relationship. I mean success in the term of getting along. I mean success in the sense of you sharing in the bond that is going to be nurtured, that is going to be fruitful, that is going to be beneficial for both parties. No man, I'm gonna say this again, loud, clear, hear me. No man wants to combat a woman for his natural position in a relationship. I said a lot. I'm gonna break that down. You as a woman, your job is that man. Like, that's your job, right? I know this is gonna trigger a lot of people, but that's okay. I don't care, because it needs to be said. So that's why I use the example of sex, because see, what's funny to me is that years and years ago, I used to hear this term from younger girls. You know, as I was in my mid-20s, there was a couple of younger girls who were friends of mine, associates of mine, and they started using this term like, girl, I'm gonna take him down. Like, I'm gonna take him down. He gonna get taken down. And I would ask, like, what do you mean taken down? Like, what does that mean, right? And they'd be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna give him some. I'm gonna take him down. I'm like, don't you mean get taken down? And they're like, well, nah, like, I'm gonna take him down. I'm like, but you have the pussy. Like, the pussy gets taken down. The pussy don't take down. Like, I'm confused. Like, it didn't quite make sense. And they were like, well, I mean, you know. No, I don't. See, what I couldn't, and at that time, I knew what I was referring to, but it was eluding even them that, yo, you as a woman is always, and I mean always, on the receiving end of everything. The exchange from man to woman is always an exchange to where there is presentation and acceptance. Presentation and acceptance. Let me give you an example. In order for you to even be taken from a single state to a married state requires him to presentation, and for you to accept. This requires a man to do a gesture, bring down on one knee, maybe at somewhere special and significant, however he chooses. Presentation, acceptance. Petition, acceptance. Like, the exchange has not changed. In order, this prize of women wanting to be mothers, you can't be a mother without presentation, acceptance. It's like, there is no way to get around the equation, right? No way. And it's sad to me that so many women are fighting this very basic principle. One of my favorite content creators, Mr. Kevin Samuels. Shout out to Mr. Samuels. He talks about 2 + 2 is always 4, right? 2 + 2 is 4. That's what it is. Mathematical equation, basic, simple. 2 + 2 is 4. We all know this, right? Well, I'm here to say the same thing. As long as there is men and there is women, there's always going to be presentation and acceptance. That, you can't get around it. And ladies, the more you fight the basic exchange that is you being the receivers as well as men being the presenters, it's always going to just continue to be constant, unnecessary, just tension. And it's not going to get you closer to your goal. It's not going to make you feel better. It's not going to get you more love, more affection. See, if you don't get the basic principle of knowing what it is for you to provide submission to men, you'll always remain in a state of paranoia, anxiety, uncertainty, insecurities, and the list goes on. Why? Well, I think I'm gonna save that for the next episode, because like I said, I'm gonna have to dissect this. I'm really gonna have to talk about this and spread it out, because I know that it's a very convoluted topic, and it seems to be circulating now more than ever in the airwaves of how necessary it is, and a lot of women don't see it to be necessary. But men have been saying the same thing, you know, over the years. I don't hear men complain about anything more than this particular word, this particular characteristic, this one right here. Because men don't want to fight with you. They don't want to wrestle with you. They don't want to overpower you for the position that is their position, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and slow it down and stop right here. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me for the moment. Like I said, I can already tell that I'm gonna have to dissect this one. I'm gonna have to spread it out, and that's okay. I don't mind, because I want it to be understood, and I want it to be eventually received. You know, me being a man, presenting, you ladies being accepting. It's necessary. I promise you, it'll make your life a lot easier. So we'll go ahead and sign out. Appreciate you guys hanging out with me. Go ahead, if you haven't already done so, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and send me some topics. You know, I'm gonna go ahead and continue to add to this one. We'll see what I'm gonna talk about tomorrow, but this one's coming, part 2, definitely. You guys go ahead and enjoy the rest of your day. This is Daniel Rucker with Truth Table, signing out. Appreciate it.